All right, guys, tonight's topics: breaking legs, lug nuts to the face, and ripping doors off. We're back. Another episode of Let's Talk Fish. We have a special guest with us tonight, Mr. Mike Lingerfeld in the house.
Thank y'all for having me.
Oh, we're glad you could make it.
Brian's going to learn something about racing.
I am. I know very little about racing. The only thing I know about racing is that when I was little, on Sundays, I wanted to go fishing after church, but Daddy would watch the race, and I would sit around mad until the race went off and he'd take me fishing.
So you could go fishing.
Well, that's pretty much what happens now every week. Everybody's waiting for 4.5 hours, and we're starting them later and later, so everybody's getting madder and madder.
Awesome. So Mike loves to fish himself. Mike fishes over 100 days a year.
Yep.
It's not far from what I do. Now, Brian fishes probably 290 days a year.
Yeah.
But that's probably part of my problem.
I'm going tomorrow, matter of fact.
You going tomorrow?
I'm going tomorrow. I went yesterday also.
Where's my invite?
I invited someone else. Someone else.
Someone else. All right, let me tell you a little bit about Mike. Mike is probably, if not the most decorated tire changer in NASCAR. This guy, he's with Roush Fenway Racing right now. He's had 23 seasons as a full-time tire changer.
Full-time.
He's got 6
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's
a
Mike's
lot.
not that old, though.
I've earned every one of these gray hair.
I guarantee.
Yeah, Mike does have a few gray hairs. Of course, I got a few too. Everybody points them out to me every day. Brian's still slacking over there. Jeff's got a few. Jeff's even got a few in his beard.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's right.
No, I've got a couple because me and my wife, we went on our 10-year anniversary trip. We were on the airplane flying back from the Dominican Republic, and all of a sudden she gasped like this. And I'm thinking, oh God, there's a spider crawling on me. There's
spider. There goes the spider.
My first thought was spider.
We've had a spider in every show.
Yeah, we have. But all right, this is the spider for this show.
One.
So I'm thinking a spider's crawling up my neck or something. But no, she reaches over and says, "You've got a gray hair," and starts poking it.
She poked it or pulled it out?
She poked it. I don't think she pulled it out.
All right, back to Mike here. 6 Cup championships, 7 Pit Crew championships, over 80 Cup race wins. Now that's pretty darn accomplished if you ask me. And you've been with Jimmy Johnson, Greg Biffle. You're now with, you work with Ricky Stenhouse. Now you're with the 6 car. Yep. So you're with Trevor Bain right now. And Mike's seen it all. He's been through it all. He's been on the highlight reel for SportsCenter several times. Not necessarily for things he was super proud of or felt real good. But yeah, I'm going to turn it over to Mike. And, our topics tonight are kind of interesting. The broken legs and the lug nuts in the face. Anybody that likes racing, they better be sure to tune in tonight because Mike's got some good stories. And later in the show, when we take questions live, any NASCAR fans out there have any questions whatsoever, please shoot them over to Mike because this man can answer them, I promise you. So, Mike, tell us about it.
Well, I've been fortunate enough through my career to always surround myself with good people. So,
that's important.
You're here tonight, though.
Well, like I say, I surround myself with good people.
You're slipping a little bit now.
We all have our dark moments.
Yeah.
But, throughout winning all that stuff, I'm always on good teams. So I can't take all the credit for it. Can't take hardly any of it. But been a very good career. If I had to quit tomorrow, it's been fantastic. Through broken legs, February 20th of 2000, broke a femur at Daytona.
Oh, a femur.
Yeah, it was a big one.
That was the one that made SportsCenter, right?
Yeah, that was
500 or the 400?
500.
At the
Start of the season.
February 20th. First, we did the heat race and the shootout. Go to Daytona for 500. We're running good. Had a couple issues on pit road with a teammate. Left a tire out. I thought I'd be a hero and go try to save a tire and got clubbed down. So,
oh, goodness.
Yeah, broke a leg. Spent 3 extra days in Daytona. Then spent 7 months and 14 days doing rehab. And started back at October Charlotte race back on pit road.
Oh, wow.
Which Was actually
Was it
lucky.
easy to fall back into the groove, or?
Yeah, I started back 5 months. I was actually back out trying to do pit practice, trying to get back running, but it came really quick because when I flew back from Daytona to Charlotte, Al Shuford was with the Carolina Panthers. He was a trainer. He picked me up at the airport and took me straight to the Panthers Stadium, and I started rehab the day I got home.
Good gracious.
So I go down, a bunch of the football players in there, and we're talking. You know, they got racing questions, I got football questions, and I'm not paying attention. You know, we do the full workout. Al says, "Well, you ready to go home?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, I got you a new set of crutches. Just grab them and you go home." I look, and that training room's like 100 yards long. He goes, "Your crutches are down there. Go ahead and grab them." I'm like, "Ain't you going to have somebody go get them for me?" He goes, "If you want to go home, go get your crutches." I was like, "Man, I just broke my leg." He goes,
Broken leg and all.
"You got a rod in it. You got to learn to walk." So 3 days after I broke my femur, he makes me walk to get my crutches, and I go home.
Gee,
That's pretty awesome. I'd probably been the same way.
yeah. Well, that's what Comp had a broken foot this year and fished.
Yeah.
And fished and did well with a broken ankle. Broke his ankle. Didn't he?
Yeah, ankle. I think he broke it in Minnesota.
Yeah, I saw him hobbling at the cup. I think
Yeah.
I asked you what was wrong with his foot. He was hobbling across the stage.
Yeah, he was leaning on the butt seat for the last 2 or 3 tournaments.
Yeah.
But still did very well. But yeah, man, that's y'all run that's a dangerous sport. I mean, for you pit crew guys especially, because those guys are. I mean, I've seen several guys get hit, and obviously that's probably one of the worst. But
You know,
it happens.
we get beat up all the time. You know, we train 4 days a week at the shop. We pit practice 4 days a week. So
So when do you fish?
luckily I live on Norman,
Yeah.
so I get to go.
There's a lot of the NASCAR guys have houses on
Yeah.
farm.
So I get to go a lot in the afternoons.
Yeah.
I'm off on Fridays and Saturdays. So every Friday and Saturday I'm out there. And between Homestead and Daytona, that's pretty much all I do.
Well, hey,
That's pretty awesome.
100 days a year
That's
for
fun.
a man that's got a full time job. That's pretty.
That's a
impressive.
lot. Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
And if you ask my wife, it's a little too much.
Well, most of our
Do I
wives
need to
say
answer
so.
Yeah.
So the van door thing kind of got me ripping doors off is what we said, but it was
Hey, we
Go
got
ahead.
another need to fix the microphone.
mics.
Yeah.
And yeah, y'all let us know. We turned mics.
Is everybody's
microphone up
mics
a little
good?
bit. Yeah, everybody.
Is
If you can't
Mike's
hear
mic-
one of us, let us know. If we get it from one person, it's one thing, but if we get it from 4 or 5 people, we know to turn the sound up. So hopefully, Mike's got kind of a soft voice, so he'll.
I'll speak up.
We'll get started. You know?
I'll get my radio voice out.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, tell us
Jeff's got a
about.
good radio voice.
Yeah, Jeff
Speaking of-
does. He will. You do the radio voice for us, Jeff?
He's on the spot. He's on the spot.
I'll do it when you're not
He's
expecting.
gonna fall up there. All right, tell us about ripping doors off, Mike. This was funny.
So I'm going to preface this by saying that I will change names to protect the guilty.
Uh-oh.
So we're leaving Talladega, Alabama. No, I'm going to change the name on this one.
All right.
We're leaving Talladega, Alabama. We're going out to back where the racetrack. The second biggest race of the day is getting to the airport because we're ready to go home.
Right.
So I'm weaseling my way out the back gate, and traffic's 4 deep. I get up to the gate, and there's just enough room for this van to go through. Police officers up, motioning forward, helping me weasel my way through because I had the special egress pass. And as I get to the gate, one of my team guys is in the back seat having a cigarette. All he says is, "Hey man, you're getting close." Well, I look out the side door and I got like 3 inches on the mirror.
Racing, that's not close.
3 inches.
This is racing, man.
3 inches, I got a mile. So as soon as I see I got 3 inches, I gas this thing up to go through the gate, and I didn't realize that he had the sliding door open, which sticks out 9 inches. I clip the van door on a fence post, and it rips it off.
The whole van door completely off.
OFF, off the van. It's laying in the parking lot behind me.
Is this a rental van?
It is.
Is this your truck?
No.
Even better. So
Yes.
that's a rental too.
So we've just got a speech about making sure we lock the vans, take the keys in the airport. So, me being responsible,
Then you went back and locked the door?
I go and open the hatch, walk back, I pick the van door up off the ground and throw it in the back of the van, shut the hatch door. I drive it 18 miles to Anniston, Alabama, pull up to the airport, get out, lock the door, walk inside, throw the keys down, get on the airplane, and go home.
Y'all remember that show, Jackass? And you remember when they go and they rent that car and the dude just completely destroys it on purpose.
I never watched
He
it.
sticks like an inflatable woman doll and hangs it out of there, busts the tires. I mean, he bashes the glass in, he spray paints the car, then he goes and turns it back into the Enterprise rental place and hands him the keys and starts to walk. That reminds me of that. Not quite as bad, but
So I had a lot of questions to answer Monday morning, but
yeah, I bet.
you know, it was unintentional.
It happens.
Not any less funny, but it was unintentional.
I bet that was funny at the time. To the guy in the back, he was.
Well, you know, I was thinking about smoking the Bandit. Junior, put the evidence in the car.
Yep. Good evening, Ryan. Thanks for joining. Cindy, thanks for joining, guys. Appreciate everybody joining tonight. And like I said, special guest Mike here. Mike, something kind of funny. And Mike finished third in the annual Dogwood tournament on Lake Norman this year.
That's
Was it third?
Third.
Okay, finished third. The big tournaments don't usually have
Yeah,
third.
that's one of the biggest tournaments on Norman.
But he did it out of a center console 20. What is it?
It's about a 23-foot striper boat.
About a 23-foot center console striper boat, blasting off with them orange life jackets around your neck, you know.
That's the
And,
way to do it.
He went out and laid the smack down on them too.
So,
And so the boat, story is the boat doesn't catch the fish.
Hey, my little brother won one of the Moss Thursday nighters at Moss Lake. Him and his buddy, they were in high school still, and they took my buddy's ski boat, put a big wash tub in the back of it, and rigged up an aerator.
Like old Mr. Bubbles. Remember the old Mr. Bubbles that you
Yeah.
dropped?
No, this was like a legit aerator, like we've got in our bass boats, and they had two lines, and when they wanted to fill it up, they would throw the pump in the lake.
Oh, we'll just run it straight
And
in.
pump it straight into the tub, and then they would put it like just.
This was
set
your
it in.
brother?
Yeah, this is my brother.
Wasn't he like a nuclear engineer or something?
Yes, now-
Well, there you go.
he's smart enough to do
That should
that.
do it. That's right. That's right.
That should do it.
So
They
yeah,
have a troll
that
there.
tournament, that was kind of funny because Mike told me they were blasting off and everybody's looking at it.
So you know, big one. You know, it's 97 boats.
Yeah.
It's usually about 100 boats.
So we back in. Go I don't pay attention to it. You know, I'm doing my normal routine, getting all my stuff ready. My boat was burning, so friend of mine, I protect the guilty again. That's what I mean. But, so we go out and not really paying attention, doing what I'm doing, and he looks over at me and goes, "Hey, you realize everybody here is staring at us?" So I look around and yeah, everybody here is staring at us.
He's got live bait in there. That would have been, that's probably the thoughts.
I can
He's
only
got live bait
imagine
in
the
the
thoughts. Yeah, some of the guys are thinking.
So it quickly goes downhill because you know he does a lot of the Monday nights, he does a lot of Thursday nights, but you know pretty lax on the life jacket rules. So I go, "Hey man, anytime a big motor's on, we gotta have a life vest on this tournament." He goes, "Ooh." Well, I got my auto inflate. I brought one with me. You got one?
Like your suspender type.
Yeah, he goes, yeah. I got one. It's in that side hatch. So I flip open the side hatch, and this 28-pound orange Coast Guard Swiftwater whiskey life jacket falls
That's
out,
awesome.
covered in mold.
Oh, that's not a.
It smells horrible. Well, I hand it to him. He goes to put it on, and he's a fairly large guy, 6'6", 280. It don't fit. So
Takes your suspenders.
I have to wear this orange life vest. And when I put it on, it makes me look really small. So then I look around, and not only is everybody laughing at us, now they're really laughing at us because I'm wearing a Swiftwater Rescue
Right.
glowing orange.
Coast Guard,
Yeah, it's horrible.
orange light vest.
But we go out, we have a good day, called 18-9, 18-5, something like that. Finished
Got
there.
Nike shoes.
Yeah, that was we're getting a lot of comments from on Mike's mic in particular that it's muffled.
Is everybody else Mike's good?
Yeah, can y'all hear everybody except for Mike? Maybe you might want to turn it down instead of up, maybe. try that, and then what's that? When does that Brian work on anything when it comes to mics or wiring or electrical stuff?
I can handle it.
But we did a sound test before we started, and Mike was great. So thanks for letting us know, though, y'all. Yeah, we're. It says we're getting a lot of echo in Mike's mic. He sounds bad.
I look bad too, but we'll let that go.
Guys, we're going to try to work on. Okay, everybody else is as good except for Mike's. It's just Mike's mic.
Fix Mike's mic.
Just Mike's mic. So we're gonna. Why don't we take a quick break, Jeff, and then we'll try to get this thing going. We might just switch your mic with Mike's mic.
Why don't we take a few questions while Jeff works on Mike's mic?
How about that? We'll do some of our pre-show questions.
Yeah.
Let's get right into our pre-show questions.
Let's go to that.
And if we need to switch Mike over to a different mic, I don't know how hard it is.
That's a lot of mics. I'm confused.
I've said Mike.
This is like a Dr. Seuss rhyme here.
Yeah, that's right.
Mike's mic.
Back off of a little. Just try to back off of a little bit. See if that helps.
All right, guys. We're going to go into some pre-show questions. We've actually got one for Mike here, but we will we'll save that one to last. Make sure we can get some sound on his mic where he can answer.
Everybody's saying back away, Mike.
Oh, is that what you're saying? Back away from the mic? See, I told him to get too closer to it. Andy was like rubbing his lips on it the other week, and everybody could hear him great. So.
Matt told me to get intimate with the mic.
That's what he said. I heard it.
That was a mistake. Ignore Matt.
I
Listen to our.
We've got 3 back away from the mics, Mike.
All right, so we're going to go with all the rules back away from the mic.
I'll sit back.
All right. Let's see. This question comes in from Grevin Black. Grevin says, I hope I said that right, Grevon. Is that how y'all say that, Grevin?
So I'd say.
All right,
Sounds good.
So Grevin says, my last couple of tournaments, I've lost a lot of good fish. How can I get myself to slow down and get good hook sets? I can touch on that, and I'll let Brian touch on it. But honestly, I've seen guys lose fish or miss fish or break fish off due to what I would call snap setting. And let me explain what that is. So a lot of times, and I used to be really bad about this. I get a bite on a jig or a worm or whatever, and especially if I'm fishing close quarters, I would drop my rod tip real fast and then set the hook. So you throw slack in your line, you don't even realize it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so,
I do that a lot too.
Yeah, but you probably keep your line tight the whole time. And
Yeah.
So I've watched a lot of people do this, and when they drop their rod tip, their line goes slack, so they're popping it. Meaning you rip a bigger hole in the fish's mouth, and you're not keeping a tight line, so there's not near as good a hook set. And you'll break the fish off because you're putting way too much pressure on the line itself.
Right.
So when you feel that fish bite, Grevin, my advice is be patient. Don't get too excited. I know that's hard to do. But just keep that line tight. And as you go down, if you go down to 9 o'clock.
Did he say the bait he's losing?
He didn't say what he's losing them on.
And that makes a lot of difference too.
Yeah, it does. I mean, if you're losing them on Topwater and crankbait.
Yeah, I mean, it could be something as far as the rod. I mean, the action of the rod or something like that.
Yeah, and if this was more specific, we could probably help you. But if it's a single hook bait like jig or worm or something like that, you could try what I said. If it's a topwater or a crankbait or something with treble hooks, jerkbait, it could have a lot to do with your setup.
Yeah,
I'll let Brian talk about that.
And I tend to like a rod that's a little bit stiffer than most guys like, but I like to have a soft tip for cranking or throwing a jerkbait or something like that. Topwaters, I still want a soft tip where I can have a little bit of give, but I want it to transition into the backbone pretty quickly. But as far as that goes, I mean, you could just contribute it to bad luck. I know that's probably not what you want to hear, but it happens. I mean, sometimes you just lose fish. I mean, you're never going to catch all of them on any one bait. There's always going to be a couple missed opportunities, and I think that's just the nature of trying to catch something. I mean, trying to catch a bass is you are going to lose fish, but to maximize your bite to land ratio, just make sure you've got the right rod paired to the bait, and that's probably the biggest key. And then line, definitely, but I use P-Line fluorocarbon and the TCBX braid and use their PF original mono, and you want to pair the line to the situation you're using. I mean, if you're fishing a bait that's subsurface, use the fluorocarbon. Topwater, use your braid monos, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. The question was kind of general, but we got a question on there.
And always check the barbs on your hooks. I know a lot of guys kind of like I'm pretty anal about things. Like I'm
Pretty anal?
just a little bit. I mean, I want to make sure everything is like exactly the best as I can get it. I mean, I'll open a brand new pack of treble hooks and like I'll hold each hook up and look at it and look at the barb, make sure the barbs are big and not pinched down, because you never know. I mean, even though it's a new hook, I mean, you could have a factory defect. I mean, I always check for things like that, and I like to throw the hooks with the biggest barbs I can get. A lot of companies now make hooks that are super sharp, but they put a little bitty barb on them. I mean, you can't even hardly see it. And to me, that's no good. You might as well be fishing with a barbless hook.
Yeah,
so
that barb's what holds them.
Yeah, I mean, make sure you get a hook that's got a good barb on it, whatever brand you prefer. Check it out. Make sure it has big barbs, because let's face it, now, I mean, we're using fluorocarbon, we're using bigger, heavier, better quality rods. I mean, the hook doesn't have to be needle point sharp to get it in a fish's mouth. The main thing's that barb.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike, you want to answer that question just to see if people can hear you good? I'm not laughing at you. I'm serious.
You're laughing with me.
Just-
I know. I fully understand.
Make sure people can hear you. No, I actually hit this question right here that just came in live from Taylor Nathan Scrots. Taylor Nathan said, "What's the number one bait for lights on Norman?" Mike fishes Norman like 100 days a year, and he fishes.
Do you night fish?
He fished a night tournament last night.
Oh,
on Lake Norman.
perfect.
So, no, what's your go-to bait for fishing lights on Lake
Now,
Norman?
you know Matt's probably watching Tater Hog.
Well, you know, that was probably a bad question to ask me, because I've been horrible on lights at night.
Well, when you did catch him, what was your go-to bait?
Well, you always got to throw the tater hog.
You throw the tater.
There you go. Oh, you said that because you think Matt's watching.
Oh, yeah, I just seen him.
Oh. There you go, man.
Are you on Tater's payroll?
No, I'm not on
All
payroll.
jokes aside, Tater
Alright,
does
yeah,
make some
he
awesome
does.
baits. So he really
Yeah,
does.
absolutely. And Matt called me the other day because he watched last week's show when them boys got to talking about carp fishing and all that mess. But he thought that was kind of funny. Everybody hear Mike okay when he answered that question? Just let us. Okay, so
We got
I
it
much
much
better. All right, great, guys. That's what we wanted to hear. Let's go to our next pre-show question, guys. We'll go back to live questions here shortly. Next pre-show question from Sean Schultz. This is a good question. It's a little bit more technical. It applies to topwater fishing, but it says, how do you decide what color topwater to throw by weather conditions and water clarity? Example, sunny days, throw this. Stained water, throw this. Cloudy days, throw this. Thanks for the time. So, Brian, now Brian, when he's topwater fishing, he'll have about 60 of them on the deck.
I will.
That might be a little exaggeration.
That's
but he'll have a dozen.
little bit.
So I'm gonna let him.
All right, I'm gonna narrow it down to one category. I'm gonna say baits like the Demiki Rambler. It's a walking style bait, and pretty much what I do with that is I let the fish determine what color I'm throwing. Like, there's only, to me, I see the need for three types of colors when you're topwater fishing a walking style bait like the Rambler. You need a translucent color, you need something with a white belly, and something with a little darker belly, or something with a translucent belly and a dark back, just where the fish, when they look up, they're either seeing something flashy, something that's kind of clear, or something that's a little darker. And all that really does is give you different silhouettes, I guess you would call it. Like you can picture a fish looking up at the surface of this topwater bait. I mean, he's either going to see light or dark or flashy. That's pretty much it. So stick with something like that. I would start out on a sunny day early in the morning. I would probably throw something flashier that's got a little chrome or something like that in it. And then once that sun gets high overhead, I'd switch to a more translucent type bait or something with a shad colored belly. And then cloudy days, I tend to throw baits that are a little bit darker or something. I mean, even a black bait. I mean, people don't think about that a lot, is throwing a black topwater walking bait. I mean, and they'll bite it.
Yeah, I've caught a lot of fish on black buzz
Right.
baits, black poppars, black
Right.
spooks. And it's like Brian said, I call it the business side of the lure, but the underside is what the fish are seeing anyway.
Yeah,
so,
the back doesn't matter that much.
yeah, don't get caught up. I mean, there's a lot of pretty frogs and stuff like that on the market, but turn those frogs over. That's what I like about our lunker frog is it's got translucent packaging where you can turn it over and you can see what the belly looks
Yeah.
like. So I'll get a frog with a white belly, I'll get a frog with a black belly, and I'll get a frog with like a tan or brown belly.
Yep.
And I mean, you might go yellow or green too to mix one in there, but you don't have to go out and buy 150 of them. And our sponsors might not like that when we tell them we don't have to buy 150 of them. But in all honesty, you
You do. You just got to figure out the 2 or 3 colors you like and buy like 10 of each one.
That's yeah, you can never have too many. You can never have too many. So
Especially if you're around stripers because they will take it from you.
Yep. Y'all excuse my voice tonight. I'm a little congested, but and Brian's telling me Brian told me earlier. He said you got to talk towards Jeff when you talk because I don't want to get sick.
Why do I want to sound like you?
Well, I don't. I'm not sick. I just have a little something going on. Leave me alone. All right.
I don't want any part of it.
I don't want either.
Next question from Anthony. Matt or Brian, I fished with y'all at Moss. Unfortunately, I moved to Tennessee for work, but I got me a new boat. I live in Mount Juliet between 2 lakes. Any pointers on Old Hickory Lake or Percy Priest? Which one would you fish first? I've never been to Percy Priest.
I haven't either. I think it's got a lot of smallmouth though.
Yeah, I've heard it's a good lake. I fished Old Hickory. It is a good lake. It's a river system. It's got a lot of current.
Kind of reminds me of a Tennessee River style lake.
It does. It does. I don't think it fishes near as big as far as offshore type stuff.
Right.
But the fish seem to be shallow there the majority of the year. There's a lot of wood covers, a lot of grass. There's a lot of bank grass. I know when I can't remember when I was there. It's been 8 or 10 years ago.
It's been a long time since I was there.
Yeah, Brian's fished it. I think you fished it like a federation.
Yeah, some kind of federation.
I fished
deal.
the FLW series event there, and fishing was all over the map. It was a junk fishing paradise. I mean, you could pick your poison, but it was. I mean,
I think I remember that one. Sam Lashley won it like down near the dam on ledges. I think.
That may have been it.
Pretty sure.
I can't remember who won that one. To be honest with you.
I got to remember.
I fished the Kool-Aid. That was over 10 years ago.
It's like a vault. It's locked in there.
When it comes to fishing, this guy can remember what he caught one on, what dock it was on, and what time of day it was on, what color the bait was.
Do you also this very conversation we're having right now about Old Hickory? Matt was there for the series. My federation tournament was the week after. Do you remember that? You went and practiced with me one day.
That's right, and I hooked like a 60-pound flathead catfish on a custom crankbait, and all you cared about was getting your crankbait back.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember. We just followed. I don't even think you ever knew it was hooked.
I don't think you did.
Anthony, I'd check out both those lakes. Tennessee's got a lot to offer too, as far as lakes and diversity. All right, Mike's question. Mike's got a question. This was from Gene. It says, "How did Mike get his start with his team and NASCAR?" So, how did you get started in NASCAR? And they asked how I know you. Well, I know Mike through fishing. I've got all my family and in-laws are huge NASCAR fans, so I kind of married into it. I've always enjoyed NASCAR and grew up going to a lot of races, being so close to Charlotte. I mean, this is a NASCAR headquarters of the United States. So, yes, I know Mike through fishing, but I'll let Mike talk about how his start came.
So I grew up racing dirt late models, dirt tracks around South Carolina.
What speedway?
Travelers Rest, Riverside, which Riverside is now a golf course.
Okay.
But, happens to all the good ones, but I grew up doing that. And at that point in time, it was actually more money I'm working on than driving for what I was doing. So right out of high school, I decided to go work on them.
So you raced dirt track?
I raced dirt track growing up.
First started, okay.
My dad and my brother was in racing all the way from when I was a small kid. And it was just natural progression. I started driving when I was 13 and did
13?
that for 13.
Lord have mercy.
You think I'm short now, you should have seen me then. So, 13-year-old kid sitting on phone books. My brother would stack phone books up in the seat to get me high enough so I could see. So I did that for a few years. Started working on other people's cars, started changing tires on them. Turned out I was actually okay at doing that, and looked at career-wise, it was easier to do that than try to drive. So straight out of high school, I decided to start traveling and hadn't looked back since.
Did you get like an intern with some of the bigger teams, or did you? How did you get involved with the top dogs?
Well, I was doing back then it was a Bush Series, so I did that for a few years. Got noticed. Everybody's always looking, and Richard Childers come to get me at Darlington.
They're shopping pit crew guys all the time, just like they're shopping minor league baseball players.
Everybody's always looking.
Always looking for somebody faster.
They're looking for that extra second.
Literally, right.
Half a second.
When you're at the end of the contract, everybody knows it. So everybody's always hunting, picking, seeing who's out there, who's available. So RC come over and got me at Darlington. So hey, we need to talk. 2 weeks later, I was in Welcome, North Carolina, working on the 31. So it happens quick.
Wow. So how long were you in the I'm gonna call it like AAA, but in the Bush series before you moved over.
I did that for 2 full years.
Okay, so it's quick.
The last half of the second year I was doing it, I did both. I wanted to finish out my career bush racing with Jason Keller, a great friend of mine.
Yeah. Right.
And I didn't want to put him in a bad spot. So Richard cut me a deal and said, hey, change tires on the Cup car. I don't care what you do on Saturday. So I took care of Jason, finished out the year with him, and went Cup racing.
Nice.
That's pretty good there.
Well, when you're good, you're good. They're not going to keep you in the minors that long. And Mike is, we won't tell you his age, but 23 years is a long, I'm not cracking on you, but I've been to several races. Mike was nice enough to have me down in the pits and got to watch him at work. And they even videoed one of them one night, man. Them boys were fast. Who was it? Daryl Jarrett says that on the UPS?
Them boys fast.
Them boys fast. And anyway, Mike, a lot of them guys are like college football players. Straight out of, they just finished playing football. A lot of them are 23, 24, 25. What's the average age of the tire changer?
We've talked about it a lot, because experience is priceless.
Right.
But at the same time, you don't get a lot of experience doing this job. If you look across the board, average lifespan of a tire changer, tire carrier is 7 years.
7 years.
So
Yeah.
I'm knocking that pretty good.
Well,
I'm on my third
You're on your
year.
third life.
Yeah, I'm on my third
if
life.
anybody thinks it's not a full contact sport or a straight up, it's hardcore. You got to be extremely athletic, and y'all train what? How many hours a week do y'all train?
You just said that. 4 days
Yeah,
a week.
we do usually do 4 days a week. We do an hour in the
Listen,
gym, an
man.
hour at pit practice.
Okay. So about 2 hours.
In the gym, we actually hired a trainer from the Jacksonville Jaguars. So whether we like it or not, he treats us like football players.
Right.
And he takes us in there, beats us up. We do cardio and weights every other day. Then we spend an hour at practice. Monday, Tuesdays kind of drills. Wednesday, Thursday stops. Then Friday, Saturdays off.
I would think like martial arts training. That would be the way for a tire
And
trainer.
y'all watch.
Yes, because
Y'all
in the
watch
world
film
of
and
kung
do
fu,
things just like
speed
football teams and
determines
stuff,
the
right?
winner.
We do film on Monday.
Yeah.
Tuesday,
right.
according to when we get
It
back.
basically
and how
is
they break it
football.
down.
It's just football with tires and cars.
That's
it's the same.
kung fu.
And you're
Same
you
regimen.
might get hit by cars. Man.
Yeah.
Well, they
I'm
got this
telling you.
really cool system called DV Sport. So they upload it, and you can break it down by frame. So you can watch everything and timestamp.
See where you can
Yeah.
improve. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, that is cool.
It shows you the good, the bad, or the ugly. It's all right there.
If we watched our tournaments back, do you think that would help us to see where we could have improved?
Probably.
Huh. I never thought about that. That's why you always need to run a camera on your boat. And then just send me the footage after the tournament. Right?
No, you've talked about the curse of the
critique
camera.
it
I'll
for me and
critique
tell
it
me
and
where
let
I
you
can
know what
improve.
you did wrong.
Okay, that'll work.
But you also have talked about the curse of the camera. Do you really want a camera on the boat?
Well,
I do.
yes and no.
I want a camera.
Sometimes
I've got nothing to hide.
And yeah, you got nothing to hide. This coming from the guy, I want to call him out, y'all. This is
All right,
really,
I got a lot of stuff I want
this
to
is
hide.
funny. He made a cut at Santee Cooper, and he put.
I don't remember this story.
And he put.
Oh yeah.
He remembers everything else.
Guys, when we make,
remember this.
when we make cuts on these events, we have GoPros that are mounted. We have multiple cameras sometimes, but GoPros that are always mounted on the windshield of the boat, okay, to catch all the footage. This joker's going to a hole so secret on Santee Cooper that he puts his hat over top the GoPro, and when he gets there, he covers it up again to make sure you didn't see where he went, how he got there, and what he caught. And then when he leaves, he conveniently takes that hat back off that GoPro. So
Hey, it
for
didn't
him
matter.
to say he has nothing to hide, that is a blatant lie.
It didn't matter anyway because Jody didn't even have it plugged up, so it wasn't running off.
That's funny. That's good. That's good. All right, so finish the pre-show questions. Take a quick break, Jeff, and we'll as soon as we come back, guys, we're going to be interacting live. Make sure, thanks for joining everybody that's on, and we're going to be taking your questions live, whether it has to do with NASCAR, has to do with fishing. Let us know. We'll be looking for it.
Get hands-on with Quaker State. The more miles you tack onto your odometer and the older your engine gets, the more likely your engine seals will start to break down, which can cause your engine to leak. That's why we made Quaker State High Mileage for vehicles with over 75,000 miles. It's formulated with special seal swell conditioners to help reduce leaks, because any other solution to handling those leaks can get a little messy. That's better. Quaker State, just damn good oil.
All right, guys, we're back. There again, thanks everybody for joining. We got Mike Lingerfeld here. For those of you who just joined, front tire changer for Roush Fenway Racing. Just told me today he's with the 6 car now. He has been with the 17 for the past 2 seasons.
Yeah, they bounce us around quite a bit. So since I started Roush, I did the Biffle car.
Yep.
Carl made the chase. I went to that. Then went back to Greg's. Then Carl made the chase. I went back to that. Then the 17. Then Carl made the chase, and I went back. So I've pretty much pitted every car at Roush now.
Gotcha. Well,
I've run the
you're
game.
obviously in high demand because what you're telling me is when a car makes a chase, they're going to rotate their best crew in on that car.
Mike's going to
correct?
be there.
Right.
So it's been, different people have different views of that.
Well, I know if my car was in the chase,
I would
the
want
three
the best
words,
there
I want
working
the
for
best-
me.
The best. Mike's too humble to say he's.
I mean, do
just that good.
y'all have like the championship lineup across all the teams? Does that make sense?
No, whenever stuff's not working, they just try to make it work. So whether it's one person or the group or whatever,
Try to find the winning combo. However
they just try to get chemistry right whenever you're doing
I
stuff. So,
understand that. I
and
understand that.
our job is 95% mental
Yeah.
and 5% actual talent.
That's not much
Kung
different from
fu.
fishing.
Yeah, ours is very middle. People don't believe that sometimes, but it's extremely middle. All right, guys, we are here. We're ready to take some questions live. We've got some back through. I'll start scrolling back through and see what we can find. Let's see. We're going to go back. Okay, yeah. Taylor Nathan said, anyone ever fished Lake Hickory? What's your favorite bait this time of year? Brian, I'll let you answer that because you've had a lot more experience on Hickory than I have.
I love Lake Hickory. This time of year, it's hard to beat Topwater and a jig, which really that's anywhere in North Carolina right now. I mean, that's what's going to win tournaments. Start out in the morning slinging a buzz bait and throwing a walking bait, and then pick up a jig and throw it the rest of the day. But that's unless you find schooling fish, that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing. And Hickory's a great lake because there are a lot of big fish in there. You catch a lot of 4 and 5 pounders, and that's going to win tournaments.
Well, there you go. Let's see.
I may go to Hickory tomorrow. I don't know yet. I just know I'm going.
Bill Taylor joined earlier. Did you see that? Our tournament director is on live. He's probably saying what we make sure we're not doing anything illegal or something.
He's
like
probably
that.
Bill. We need a question from you, Mr. Bill.
Yeah, Bill. So
Can I-
shoot us a question? All right, Kyle Lee Wiston had a good question earlier. Kyle wants to know, when fishing turnover water, do you run from it or find the bite? That's a great question, Kyle. And it says, if you run from it, how long do you generally wait to come back and fish it? So, turnover water.
Turnover water.
Yeah, we've all encountered turnover water.
Yep.
I'm looking at Mr. Wilson over here. His belly's starting to bulge a little bit. Brian fed him. He does. Look, he's got a little.
Well, he just ate like 16 little goldfish.
16 goldfish right before.
He crushed 24 the other day.
Yeah,
I just wanted to see what would happen.
16.
Well, actually, 22.
We'll see how many he'll eat.
22.
We'll do another live feed next week for y'all to see. We might even try to round up a variety of things. Some fish, maybe a crawfish, maybe some.
I'm waiting on them to get them in. All they got,
All the crawfish?
all they have now is like blue lobsters.
Blue lobsters?
They're like blue crawfish, but they're like
$4
$14,
a piece.
$15 a piece.
That's too much.
Mr. Wilson is
too
not
much.
eating lobster dinner.
Sorry, Mr. Wilson. All right.
Go kick over some rocks at your mom and dad's house. Get us some crawfish, man.
All right. Turnover water. Go ahead.
Turnover water. Turnover water is, I usually run from it, but it's also one of them deals you've got to try to check it out, because if you can find a bite in it, you're usually going to have that water to yourself. And I know of a couple tournaments on Lake Norman specifically that have been won in the kind of brackish looking black water, right there in the mid lake section where it turns over usually. And I know a couple tournaments have been won there in that, but usually my rule of thumb is when a lake turns over, I'm going to fish shallow. It doesn't matter if I'm on the bank or off the bank. If I'm offshore fishing points, I'm going to be throwing a topwater bait, something that's high in the water column.
You want to tell them why that is? A lot of people probably don't know what happens.
Yeah, the reason for that is this time of year, when in the fall, when you start getting the cooler air temperatures, the stratification of the lake will kind of mix up.
Cool. That's another one.
We've already talked about it. You want to make sure I can say it.
I just wanted him to
Now I know where this comes from.
Yeah.
Because your brother is.
Nah, he don't know nothing about this. I'm over him.
Yeah,
on this.
but it's like, what is it? Like a nuclear.
He's a rocket scientist.
He's
legit.
I just figured out where the big words come from.
He designs like gas turbine engines. He's a rocket scientist.
So the stratification, explain.
He's very good at math.
Back to what the turnover is, so the people that don't know what a fall turnover is and how it happens.
But anyway, so the water levels mix, and what that does is all the oxygenated water that's on the surface of the lake mixes with the unoxygenated water on the bottom of the lake. So it kind of just flips over upside down. So the oxygen goes to the bottom, the bad water comes to the top. So the fish they kind of can go everywhere, but most of them will go shallow. So I tend to just fish shallow because that's going to be the easiest place to get bit when that happens. Is just get on the bank. I'm talking 6 to 12 inches shallow. They will get right up there, get right on the bank, and just throw it top water, swim a jig, something like that.
Yeah, you'll be amazed how shallow you'll catch the fish.
They'll get
turnover.
And look for another thing you can look for is look for the back of creeks, somewhere you've got fresh water coming in. If you've got a rain that's got a little color in the water, because that water is going to have more oxygen than the rest of the lake too, and you'll have a lot of fish migrate back in the creeks during that time of year.
Yeah, that's a good answer. That was more complex than I could have made it. So glad I let Brian answer that one. I don't even know what
It's a touch more
means.
complex than I could have, so I just let you run with it.
That doesn't happen in the ocean on the redfish tour, does it?
No, I just let you run with
Your
it.
water, it goes in and out 4 times a day.
Michael Smith said he's wearing his Let's Talk Fish shirt that we shipped out to him. Michael was one of our winners last week.
Yeah, and I saw
for
somebody
fish shirt.
asking about like hats and shirts and gear.
Where
So
can we get some Let's Talk Fish gear?
what was it? Last Tuesday we had a show. Wednesday morning, got excited, got an email, tracking numbers in, texted you. I said, shirts are on the way.
No, we got
track
the
it.
shirts.
I mean, the hats are on the way.
Yeah.
I track it. They're coming from Oregon.
So the hats will be here tomorrow.
Kidding me? Hats will be here tomorrow, and we have shirts, so we'll put it up, and it'll be available.
Makes hats in North Carolina.
Hey. Special hats.
you gotta do
These are
what you gotta
specially
do.
made.
Special hats.
Special.
So, anyways, tomorrow we'll
Coming down the
next
Oregon
day or
Trail.
so you'll see it up, available, and all that kind of good stuff. So on the way. Sorry for the delay.
On our Facebook page, correct?
It'll be posted on Facebook. You'll be able to find. I will make it available and easily accessible.
I don't even have a hat. Matt's
That's
got
the
a
biggest
hat.
word you'll
Matt's
probably
got
ever
the only
hear.
hat.
Lackey wants to know why we make him take. Ask Mike why we make him take pictures of everybody's fish.
Well, for y'all that don't know Andrew, like he actually grew up across the street from you.
Yep.
And Andrew is my Sasquatch-looking friend. Great big guy, 6'7". So they take me to fish all these tournaments so I can hold the fish because they look bigger.
That's a good idea.
I mean, if you look at
Dang, man, that brings a whole new meaning to like long arming one.
you look at him.
That means you don't even have to long arm them?
No, you look
hand
at
just hand your 3-pounder to somebody that's a lot shorter.
That's what I need to get Wiley to do that for me. So if I catch like a 2-pounder, I let Wiley hold it. It looks like an 8-pounder.
yeah. If you put the Lake Norman Special 2-pound spots
The
in
2-pound
Andrew's
spot.
hand, they look like they're about 6 inches long. I hold them, they look like 6 pounds.
That's awesome.
So it
That's
makes perfect sense to take me.
Then Bill said hello from your FLW family, enjoying the discussion. Thanks for joining, Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
Bill, that
Appreciate you
wasn't
watching.
a question. They asked for a question.
Yeah, we wanted a question.
Deal. All right, Peyton's got a good question. It's a grass punching question. When punching grass 8 to 15 feet deep, which is deep grass to be punching, once your bait hits the bottom, how long do you let it sit, or how long do you leave it in that single grass punch before you see more? Fill up and punch another location. So, that's conditional in my opinion. Some days, especially on high pressure days, you got to hit that fish in the head. And then other days, I've seen a fish run 10 feet to get the bait. I've seen that punching mats, seen that fishing deeper milfoil.
Yeah.
Potomac River this year. You know, the first day it was. Of course, that has to do with fishing pressure too. But there's a lot of things that go into that. Brian, you want to touch on it?
Yeah, I mean, I've only got to experience punching deep grass like 2 or 3 times. It was actually, deep grass.
8 to 15 is deep grass.
Yeah, and what I was actually punching was 20 to 23 feet, but the grass was only 15 to 18 feet tall, so it wasn't matted up grass. But what I like to do anytime I'm flipping is I want to be covering water. I want to make a flip every 3 or 4 or 5 feet and just constantly have that trolling motor going until I get a bite. And once you get a bite, usually this time of year, it's going to be a group of fish. There's going to be multiple fish in that area. That's when you need to slow down and really pick it apart. Like a lot of times when you're punching that grass that's not topped out, that's under the surface, deeper like that, there'll be a school of fish there. I mean, you can keep making that same pitch and just catch fish after fish. There'll be a little group of them sitting there. But that is definitely one of the funnest things to do when you're fishing. But as far as how long I'm leaving the bait there, I'm flipping it out there. When it goes down to the bottom, I might hop it one time, and then I'm going to wind it in and make another pitch because I want to cover as much water as I can and put that bait in front of as many fish as I can.
Yeah, the more flips. I mean, it's like your philosophy at Norman back in the day. The man who fishes the most docks wins. So the man who makes the most flips, as long as those fish are active or semi-active, the more water you can cover, the better off you are.
Always.
Let's see. Yeah, that's definitely Bryan Thrift's philosophy. The more water you can cover, the better off you are, and he's proven himself correct. Brian, this question's for you. With lakes on tour, how do you prepare from lake to lake? For a non-boater, how would you prepare from lake to lake? And I can take half. I can do the non-boater part if you want to do the first.
That'll work. I prepare the same for every lake. I'm going to have 40 rods rigged up with 40 different baits, and I'm going to do 40 different things in practice everywhere. I mean, I prepare basically by the season I'm in, whether it's pre-spawn, spawn, post-spawn, summertime, fall, whatever. I'm going to have baits tied on geared more toward the season that we're in. And then I'll have several variations and then figure it out as I go. But I spend a lot of time preparing for an event, just messing with my tackle and getting it right. That way, when I get to a tournament to actually start practicing, I don't have to dig around and look for a bait or tie a bait on. I've already got it tied on. I just might have to dig the rod out of the box. But I've got the setup like I like to throw with the bait I like to throw already rigged up. I've just got to get it out.
Yeah, and from a co-angler standpoint, preparation to me for a co-angler, because your draw is completely out of your control, so versatility is a co-angler's greatest asset. I've seen some really...
That and a shaky head.
Always have a shaky head on the deck.
Always.
If you're a co-angler, you can probably survive most of the tournaments we fish with 3 or 4 spinning rods.
Even in Florida, shaky head.
Yeah.
I may do that on the tour next
You
year.
might want some kind of soft stick bait in Florida.
On a shaky head. You can put anything on a shaky head. Shaky head's
so
not discriminating. You can put a monster worm. All right, go ahead.
Everything on the shaky head. We'll start calling you shaky head. I mean, that's just it fits you. But from a co-angler perspective, because of your draw being out of your control, being extremely versatile.
Maybe we need to do a 10 cup type bet.
10 cup.
Yeah, like fish the tour next year with nothing but a shaky head, kind of like you did with the 7-iron.
You bet me your truck, and I bet you my fishing rod.
No, we need a little more.
He bet his car. He lost his car because the dude hit it down the road, and he drove the ball further.
No, I'm talking about when he played the course with the 7-iron.
Oh, you want to play? Oh.
With one stick.
Well, there was 2 different bets in that movie. So he wants to fish the whole tour with a spinning rod.
Nothing but a shaky head.
And you want me to have my complete arsenal.
I mean, we're going to have a significant wager. It's got to be worth my while.
Well, you're the one that said you could probably catch.
I mean, that would be cool.
Make the cut.
I couldn't do it, but it would be cool if you could do it.
All right. So that being said, get good with those spinning rods. And I think an advantage the co-angler can have is become a proficient caster. Be able to put that bait where your boater can't. Now, at our level, a lot of guys can cast really good. Their mechanics are phenomenal, but there are some co-anglers out there that can absolutely blister a bait 25 foot up under the dock, and that right there will get you a few extra bites. So
Yeah.
become versatile and become proficient in your casting. Let's see. Keep going down to the next question. Let's see. I know you guys fish most of the lakes in the western part of the state. Has anybody fished? This one's from Nick Harris. Anybody fish? I'm gonna say cur. Do you call it car or cur?
I call it Bugs Island.
Okay, Bugs Island. Bugs Island's good. What do you call it, Mike?
Cur.
Cur.
Bugs Island.
Kerr. So we
Cur.
call it. Yeah, I always said Bugs Island because people say car, or Gaston this time of year.
I've never been to Gaston.
Okay, but we both fish bugs. Now,
About 15 years ago.
I fish bugs quite a bit, but I have not fished it much this time of year. I fish it a lot in April, May, and June. I fished it when the fish are offshore. I fished it when the fish are up shallow. So I probably won't need much help. I would say this time of year, make sure you find the bait fish. That's the number one key to fishing this time of year. Those fish will be close by. Topwater is going to be a big player. Cover a lot of water till you get a few bites, and let that kind of dictate what you do from there. Water level at Bugs Island is always a big player.
Yeah, I have heard that.
Yeah,
it's
if
got to be in the
water's up
bushes.
I mean, you better be fishing the bushes. The way I look at it. Next question down to Ernie Wallace. Ernie said, on culling fish, if you have a good fish in the live well and he's not doing well, do you let him go and hope he survives, or take the chance and try to nurse him back to life? No, I mean, we don't have a dead fish culling company.
Yeah, we can cull dead fish.
Yeah, we can cull a dead fish. None of us like.
Yeah,
I think FLW. Bill Taylor's on here, so FLW maintains. It's like a 98 point.
Yeah, it's way up there.
Way up there.
I always nurse them. I mean, I put ice on them, put G-juice on them. If I catch them deep, I'll fizz them. I actually fizzed a couple in the championship on the live feed. And I didn't get to actually see the live feed to see if you could see it, but a few people mentioned it, said you were able to see it. So that's pretty neat and they're pretty easy to maintain and keep them healthy, even in the summertime. I mean, boats now have got oxygenators. We've got the G-juice, like I said, and you can keep those fish alive and actually release them healthier than they were. I mean, especially for summertime fish.
For sure. And FLW maintains a 98. It's a 98 point and some change % live release rate on tour all year long. So that being said, the Ranger live wells are phenomenal. But we don't, I mean, there's a lot. One thing I do that a lot of people probably don't do, and we do it when we catch them deep. You ever catch them deep, Mike, and they're belly up in the live well? You got belly weights?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, the belly weight's pretty good too.
I'll even clip belly weights on my fish, even in times of the year where it might not even be necessary, because every once in a while you'll have one flip up for no reason. And you just
even if you call them shallow, they'll still roll up.
Even if you call them shallow, or you get, like Brian does, he gets a 40-pound bag of fish in there and they just don't have room and they all turn upside. So if you put belly
that
weights
has
on,
never happened to Brian.
If that fish stays upright in the live well, he's a lot better off, period.
Yeah.
Have you tried the Mountain Dew?
Yeah,
I've
that's
heard about
sun
that.
drop.
So sun drop probably got some ingredients. So what's the deal with the sun drop and the Mountain Dew? People have told me this. I've had co-anglers swear by this.
It works.
I keep a 2-liter bottle of Mountain Dew in my boat, and anytime I got one that's bleeding a little bit, just pour a little Mountain Dew down his gullet.
Yep,
cleans
every
it right
time.
up.
If you catch one and he's bleeding absolutely at all, unhook him, pour a little bit of a soft drink. It doesn't take much, about a half second's worth, just to rinse the blood out of his mouth, put him in the live well. It'll stop the bleeding. Totally stop.
Are we going to say soft drink, or does it need to be something with
I've used Sun Drop
or whatever that's got in it?
Sun Drop and Mountain Dew I know works. I don't know if Pepsi or anything works. But
I can promise you Mountain Dew works.
Yeah,
Okay,
I know Mountain Dew and
100%.
Sun Drop work.
And that'll stop the bleeding, basically.
Stop it.
Okay, well that's a great tip, because I've had people tell me that I don't drink
It works.
Sun Drop or Mountain Dew, so I don't keep it in the boat. But that's a good idea. I might start keeping one in the boat now, or I'll just find Thrift. He's always got.
I've got
cases
one.
of Sun Drop in his boat. So.
Yep.
Let's take a quick break real quick, and
Okay.
and we'll be right back
More
with
live
you
questions.
for more live questions, and we'll see you in a second.
right, guys, we're back. Jeff's making fun of me. He said we had to take a break because I had to blow my nose.
You sound like you need
You're
to.
not sounding good over here.
Hey, I'm here. I'm here.
Look at Jeff when you talk. Quit looking at me.
I don't want any part of it.
Like,
Zero part of it.
Y'all should have put like a bubble around my chair.
We did.
tonight.
We looked for a mask.
We did look for a painter's mask for it.
I had one in my box, but I looked for one.
All right, so
Come on, Mike. We coming over here. We're getting away from this.
y'all terrible. All right, Brian Dyer, next question. Hey guys, with the shad moving back in the creeks, what bait should we use? I threw topwater, medium, and deep cranks yesterday along with spinnerbait and only caught a few average fish on Lake Hickory. Yeah, so Brian, that's a good question. Thrift's got a lot of experience on Hickory. He touched on it earlier. I'll let him touch on it again.
That sounds like the right formula to me. I mean, that's what I would be doing if I found shad in the creeks. I mean, it may be something as simple as the fish aren't there yet. You know, the bait's moved back, but the fish aren't that far along yet. You know, it's been hot the last couple of weeks here, and maybe the fish are still thinking.
What's he doing over there?
Mr. Wilson started eating fish out of his mouth.
Yes.
He's holding them.
Oh,
He
so
spit one out. And
That's what got me all excited. I was trying to.
Yeah.
anytime we see a bass chasing, we
He was like, he was. I think he was spitting them out and eating them again.
We did.
we got schooling activity in our aquarium over there.
But yeah, it sounds like you're doing the right thing bait selection wise, but it may be something as simple as the fish just aren't there quite yet. So I would check a little farther out on the main lake and see if you can figure out where the bass are in relation to the shad. You know, they may not have got there. Check secondary stuff, and then work your way out and see what you run across.
Jimbo Ball said, put Lineberger on the show. We'd like to have Lineberger on the show. We'll get him down here sometime. Matt Gold asked, what's the best way for a young fisherman to get into the sport? Matt, that's a great question. We have, excuse me, we've talked about this a little bit over the past couple of weeks when we've had some questions from some young anglers. But high school fishing, man, I don't know how young you're talking. I mean, I lived and breathed it since I was 5 years old, and I could hold a stick and tie a rope to the end of it and put a hook on there and catch bluegill. But the high school programs, if you don't have one at your high school, I'm echoing what I said last week or week before that. Start one. Guys, there's so many opportunities for young fishermen now that we didn't have. Take advantage of them. So look into your high school programs. You can probably even start middle school. I don't know if middle school programs exist yet, but
I don't know.
I don't see why you couldn't start.
Yeah, I don't see why you couldn't either.
So yeah, that's a good. Okay, Josh Waldron said also Coke works also.
Coke does work.
Yeah, so-
I wonder, it must have something to do with the carbonation, kind of like, I know a lot of times too, and I've done this as far as keeping fish alive, is using hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah, that's what
Putting that in-
Wendell earlier.
Yeah, I
said
talked to
peroxide.
Mendel about that the other day. I mean, that works very good on keeping fish alive. And
All right, so sorry, we missed Jody Markwright's question earlier. I did see that, Jody. Apologies. They said, do you think the tour will come to Santee in the future? Well, the Coastal Series is coming next year.
Yeah. I don't know. It's been a long time since a tour level event has been on Santee.
Yeah.
Bass or FLW. I don't know.
It hasn't a lot of.
I don't think that's a question I can answer.
Bill Taylor, our tournament
Might could
director,
answer.
is on here. So if you want to,
Bill,
shoot
there's
Bill,
you a question
shoot
to
Bill a
answer.
message. Bill might can answer that for you. So there you go, Bill. Are we ever going to go to Santee on the tour? But all right, so let's see. Wesley Bray, are there certain types of grass that bass do not relate to? In Lake Murray, especially during summer, there's a grass that actually has a horrible smell. And I'm just wondering if fish live in that. We know all too well what he's talking about.
Yes, we do.
And I'm just wondering if fish live in that stuff. So, Wesley, I don't know. You think he's talking about that pondweed, that brown?
As far as I'm concerned, they don't live in it.
that,
And yeah, they don't live in it.
we think you're talking about that stuff. People call it witch's hair. It's brown. It grows out of.
It's
12,
weird
14
and stringy.
feet. It's never green and pretty, and I don't even know if it holds much.
Like, I didn't even see any brim around it.
Yeah, we didn't see much life around it, period. You'll see some few little fish. But I promise you, the hours that our guys prepared for the Forest Wood Cup, I don't know if a
Nobody
single
caught
guy
them out of grass.
that caught fish out of that grass. And
Yeah.
if one of the locals down there has figured out that deal, that there's fish that live in that stuff somewhere, and they're catching them, you better keep it under your hat, because not a single pro ever figured that out.
Right.
And yeah, so I don't think they live in that stuff.
Yeah, I don't even know the name of it.
They call it witch's hair, but it looks like it's like brown and real
good for me.
stringy, and it's all. I mean, it chokes out a complete coat. Like
I seen that.
Mainly on the lower third of that lake.
It's definitely seemed like it was mid-lake down.
Yeah, it was everywhere. But apparently, something's happened to those grass carp down there because they usually don't turn down a meal, and I don't think that they would eat that stuff if they found it. All right, so let's keep scrolling down. Mick Harris wants to know, Brian, didn't you just fish a tournament on Baden?
I did.
So Mick had a question on Baden. Going to Baden in 2 weeks, what end of the lake would you start on?
Well, Baden's only like
Chad Wiley said something
Four.
secure for world peace.
Chad is not wrong. He is not wrong.
Brian would agree with you.
Baden is only like, it's little. Like, I don't know how big, 4,000 or 5,000 acres. I fished the whole lake 3 times in an 8-hour tournament. I went this way, back up this way, back over this way. This is the first time I'd ever been to Baden was last Saturday. Very first time I've ever put a boat in it. And we caught them all over the lake. We caught some schooling down near the dam. We caught some shallow grass on docks and rocks. And I think it's such a small lake, and it's got so many different things to offer. I think you can just cover water and catch them doing a little bit of everything is what I seen. I mean, for my first ever trip there. So
I fished Baden at a club tournament in high school about 20 years ago, so I won't be much help. Mike, you ever fished Baden?
I have not.
It's got some biggins in it, doesn't it?
yeah, I think there was like a 13 or 14 caught there this spring.
Pounder?
Yes.
Wow. I'm going to have to make a special trip to Baden.
I'll ride with you.
But there was like 12 of those caught at Sharon Harris, though, I think.
Well, that's true, but people don't know about Baden yet. Everybody knows about Harris.
Yeah, I think Baden. I mean, I think they fish it. They have ABAs and stuff there. I think
It wasn't listed in Bassmaster Magazine as a top 5 lake in the country, though, was it?
there's been one caught in like 15, 20 years.
Oh, no, I'm saying Sharon Harris was listed in their magazine as
Yes, because
like top 5 or 10
well, yeah,
best lake in the country. Kicking out 40-pound bags, I guess it's a pretty good lake. Anthony Williams got a good question.
I got a shout out to my good buddy TJ Yennick. What's up?
Howdy, TJ.
He don't know.
What's so funny?
You don't know. That's what's funny.
So, Brian, is it true that the water temperature in live wells should be? Now I feel left out. I got to stop. What are we talking about?
You can't know. You will never know.
Okay.
You don't know about.
We're on a team. They're on a team.
Apparently, yeah, Mike.
We're left out.
I just said hello to TJ. I'm just trying to be nice.
And I'm sure he appreciates it.
Okay, yeah. Well,
Are we going to have to get back in the spinning reel debate? We got him good on that, didn't we?
you lost that debate.
No.
Michael.
Oh,
Spin
boy.
reel, left-handed or right-handed? Or wait, how do you reel a bait caster?
I reel a bait caster right-handed, spin reel left.
Amen.
Oh.
The end. All right.
I got a reason.
All right, we need a reason.
Okay.
Because that's the way normal people do it.
Well, that's the way I feel also. But when I'm fishing a spin reel, anything I'm throwing with that, I usually need to be slow. So it helps me slow down to reel a spinning reel with my left hand. Because if I reel it with my right hand, I get in a rhythm and I just fish too fast.
All right, I'll accept that.
Okay. Anthony said,
I don't believe it, but I'll accept it.
Brian, is it true that the water temperature in the live well should be no more than 10 degrees cooler than the surface temperature? Pretty technical question. Let's see how you answer this one, big boy.
What's the question?
I'm reading it to you. The water temperature in your live well should be no more than 10 degrees cooler than the surface temp of the water you're fishing. Also, hydrogen peroxide, 3%. Your thoughts?
Water temperature, I don't think being more than 10 degrees cooler than the actual water temperature is going to hurt anything.
Yeah, if you
pull a
fish out of 90-degree water, put it in 80-degree live.
Well, if you pull a fish out of 90-degree water, odds are that fish could be down 10 or 12 feet, and it's not going to be 90 degrees that deep. I mean, it may be 82, and you get down below that, it might be 70 degrees. You don't know. I mean, if you've ever been swimming in a lake or I don't know. I've never really felt it in a pool, but in a lake, if you dive under the water,
it's a huge temperature change.
Yeah, there's a huge temperature change. Yes. So getting that water, typically, if I like it to be around 70 to 75 during the summertime. I mean, that's where I'll put enough ice in it to get it down that cool. I mean, when I stick my hand in my live well, I want to noticeably feel that the difference between it and the air temperature. I mean, I want to know, okay, that water's good and cool, the fish are happy, everybody's good to go. And I know the hydrogen peroxide works great on keeping fish alive. You just pour it straight in the live well. And as far as the ratio, I'm not going to offer any suggestions.
Yeah, you say 4% and somebody's fish died.
Yeah, I mean, I get a bottle of hydrogen peroxide and I just pour it in. Yeah, it looks about right, and I've never killed any.
Mr. Wilson likes it 76 degrees, just to be.
We've got Mr. Wilson on 76.
I just figured out who TJ Yannick is.
You did?
Yeah, what's up, JT? I got it right that time. I had to do some investigating on my phone because it drove me nuts when they're picking up. But that's pretty funny name. Oh, sorry, I didn't know he was trying to be all incognito on us. Let's see. Mark said you talk a lot about catching schooling fish chasing bait. How do you target larger fish in those schools? You want to answer that?
Yeah, throw bigger baits. That's one thing I try to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Throw bigger baits or fish down below a little. A lot of times you'll have smaller fish up on the surface actually busting, and bigger lazy ones will stay down and kind of pick up the scraps, if you will, or even be on the bottom. I mean, I've actually caught some big fish out of schooling fish on a shaky head on the bottom.
Shaky head.
Shaky head.
That's all you need. That's all you need.
You just got to do something different, to throw something that's not going to be competing with what the little schoolers are chasing. Throw something that's going to stand alone and be noticeably different that bigger fish can key in on. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, okay. So Brian pretty much nailed that one. I don't have to follow that up. Mike, you got a good question here. Matt Gold wants to know, who's your pick to win the championship this year, the NASCAR championship?
Well, right now you really can't bet against a 78. I mean, Truex. He's been fast.
That dude
Took the words
killing.
out
We
of
talked
my
about
mouth.
that on the way over here. I said, what has he got figured out that nobody else? I mean, I told Mike, I said, it's just unbelievable. We watched him in Kentucky, man. He was just blistering people.
They're fast week in and week out. You know for a fact they're going to be, a bad day for them right now is top 5. And if that's your bad days, there's no competing with you.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Okay, forgive my ignorance, but when the chase starts, I mean, how big is he leading the points right now?
Great question.
Sorry.
Yeah, I believe he is. But, right now in the playoffs, all you got to do is win and you move on.
Right.
Or be in the top 12 and you move on. Then
Points
they
really
cut for
don't
more.
matter anymore.
You just
pretty
got
much.
you got to be better than 4. Then the next cut, you got to be better than 4.
Yeah.
Than 4.
Basically, you just got to win to get in, and then you got to win
So-
your segments or finish.
Well, we'll pull for Truex. Truex is a bass fisherman, so we like Truex.
This is true.
He's
A lot of
he's a
NASCAR
Toyota
guys are
guy.
bass fishing.
Toyota guy.
He's a 12
Chris,
guy.
the podcast on iTunes it's already on iTunes.
Our show's on iTunes.
Yeah, and they're updated about every week. So we may be one behind, but it'll be done, updated fully the next 2 days. But just search out "Let's Talk Fish" on iTunes, and it should pop up for you.
TJ said, can we talk about hunting yet? See, people do want to talk about hunting.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're getting kind of towards the end of the show here. Any more questions? Wesley Bray said you guys need to go fish Lake Reedsville.
I've never heard of Reedsville.
I've heard of it, but I don't know where it is. Is it kind of up there towards Burlington, in that area?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Let us know where Lake Reedsville is. We're not sure. Jay Hanover said bow season's right around the corner. Our bow season's been in for 3 weeks now.
Yes, it has.
He must be
I don't bow hunt,
somewhere. You must live where there's big deer, because we don't. We live where there's lots. Of
South
small
Carolina's rifle season's been in since like
August 15th.
deer. Yeah, southeastern, not all of South Carolina.
Yeah, just
southeastern part. They have
Yeah.
the longest rifle season in the country, and it is August 15th to January 1st. Them boys are dropping them with lead.
yeah.
How you gonna go out August 15th?
And see, it's a
and start
challenge.
shooting with a rifle.
It's
I
a challenge.
feel
I used to when I was younger,
It's
but
challenge.
I can't.
Challenging?
It's challenging.
Yeah, because the mosquitoes down there. Like,
Yes,
how-
you've got to
it's horrible.
shoot them, locate them, and get them dressed before the sand gnats and the mosquitoes eat them.
Mainly mosquitoes down there.
It's
And
hard.
fire ants, probably.
Yeah,
It's
fire
100
ants.
it's 100
Fire ants,
degrees.
yes.
Mosquitoes everywhere. I grew up doing it.
But
That's what I like. I
on
like
the
it.
bright side of that, if like the guys in the Midwest, most of them never get a chance. Now they probably don't become a hunter or a little deer, but they never get a chance to kill one in velvet. If you want to kill one in velvet, you go to southeastern South Carolina, take a rifle in August, and you're gonna kill one in velvet. You know, you'll get your velvet deer, and I'm sure there's a lot of outfitters and stuff down there.
Mosquitoes
From what
may
I've heard
suck
about-
all the blood out of his horns before you get him, though.
When I heard about Brian, he's going to shoot it from his back porch.
Brian is not going to travel far to hunt deer. This guy hasn't hunted in years, and all of a sudden, like he's got me and Andy Montgomery, who was a guest on our show a couple weeks ago, on a group text. He's sending us trail camera pictures and all this stuff, man. He's all jacked up.
I'm in it now. I mean,
he's,
I walk out there and I go check my trail cam.
If I could get him on
Thank
the
you,
lake-
Miss Allie, for buying me a trail cam last year for Christmas, by the way.
Oh, your wife bought you your trail
She
camera.
did buy it for me.
That he sent me a picture. He sent me a picture of a pretty nice one.
Yeah, I got a good one.
Yeah, it's we call him Unibrow. I call him Unibrow. I only got one brow time. He's a big 7 though. But yeah, that's maybe if I could get Brian to hunt as much as I do, I might have a chance. Like first of the year, first tournament, because you know the guy's fishing like.
See, that'd be bad because
25
if
days
I
a
was
month.
setting up in a deer stand bored, I'd be playing on my phone. I'd probably be spending too much money on fishing tackle,
That's fine.
and
what I do.
it wouldn't work.
Sit up there and order fishing tackle and play games and look at Facebook. And
Take a nap.
Take naps. Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Are you a hunter, Mike?
I hunt very little just because of our schedule. You know, we run all the way
Right,
through
yeah.
November, so I fish all December, so I got like 2 weeks and that's it.
He's like you. When he's not racing, he's fishing.
Yeah,
When you're not fishing, you're fishing.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So,
Ernie Wallace wants to know if you've ever fished a lake at Daytona.
They actually do charity events at Daytona and Homestead.
talking about the lake and the track there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So we sneak back here and fish every now and then. It's pretty good. Yeah. Because nobody ever gets to fish it. You know, even like when you stay at the racetrack, you're
So
not
is it
supposed.
stock?
I don't know if they stock it or not, but it's got some pretty good. Like the Homestead track, you know, if you go through the back tunnel, and there's a little canal. It's not even a lake, but there's 7-8 pounders back here just nursing themselves in the grass.
7-8 pounders.
Yeah, really nice.
Sounds
We
good.
fished those. We had to shoot some commercials for Quaker State up at Kentucky Speedway in those ponds out there. Yeah.
That's where you got attacked by the snake.
Yeah, that's where I caught that. You know how many people thought that was real?
What?
If you go back on my
Oh, I
Instagram
seen
page,
that.
and I'm holding up like
No.
a 7-foot snake, and it's like that big around,
Yeah.
and I'm lipping it. I'm holding it by the mouth, like lipping it. Saying
It's like a stuffed animal.
it's stuffed. Yeah, it's foam.
It's noticeably foam.
Well, that's
and then some people were like, "Oh, that's not real." I'm like, "Really? You know, really?" Like I'm holding it by his fangs. You know.
What you should have done was tied it on and got one of those big bass pillows and threw it out in the lake and like attached it to the snake like you caught it on the.
Like I used the snake for bait.
Yeah, and then had world record bass.
What we did with those snakes is Larry McReynolds was. Did you say that?
I did.
Okay, Larry McReynolds was who's a commentator for NASCAR.
Yeah.
Was out in the water and they put him in waders to film it. It was a commercial shoot for Quaker State and a little video segment they were doing. And he was standing out in the pond in his waders, and we had those snakes attached to some rods, and they were up in the grass against the bank. We had a small black one that looked real. I mean, it straight up looked real. And while he was out there filming, we had pulled that snake up to the back of his waders. It was floating in the water, and he spun around, and then he liked to come out in waders. But the problem was the bottom was so silted in and mucky
Oh, God.
that when he tried to move, he just about face planted. And I felt bad because he had his racing attire on, you know. He was, his commentator shirt on, and Jimmy Houston, he's over there just.
Oh, he's dying.
He's rolling. But that was funny. Scott and I, they didn't let Scott and I actually. I mean, you had Larry McReynolds and Jimmy Houston, so we were the snake team. You know, we were out of the scene, but we pulled the snakes in with the fishing rod. That was pretty funny.
Well, if you fish at Homestead Lake, you don't have snakes, but you got actually gators down there. Because the canal system, it runs right beside the racetrack. They'll sneak into the back outside pond, and every now and then you'll drive into the racetrack and you'll see an 8-9 footer out there.
Oh.
So
Yeah. What
Be
about-
careful if you sneak on the fish.
What about those people that camp down there? I mean, what about a gator crawling up in your RV or something?
They actually got the back pond that's susceptible to the gators. They actually got it fenced off.
Oh, okay, good.
So once they get in, they can't get out.
I can only imagine what a bunch of drunk NASCAR fans would probably do if with this.
They'd be taking selfies,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
pouring beer down it.
Meet Joe Dirt.
They'd be on a barbecue before the night was over with.
Joe
probably.
Dirt.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
This here's
it's
what's
Joe
his name?
Dierte.
Joe
Dierte.
Dierte. He puts his head inside.
Yeah.
All right. Wesley Bray said that Lake Reedsville's north of Greensboro and right near Burlington. So I was close. I said near Burlington.
You know right where it's at. Why you holding out on
I've
it?
never fished it.
Evidently not.
All right. Chris Bishop wants to know what is Brian's favorite shaky head bait. Since you're the shaky head man,
Demiki Stinger,
Demiki
4-inch,
Stinger.
hands
4
down,
inch.
the best.
Mike, what's your favorite shaky? You fish shaky head a lot at Lake
I
North
do.
and Spotted Bass. What's
I
yours?
do. I throw the Senko,
Sinker. A regular 5-inch.
5-inch,
Okay.
special color.
Got you. I like special color.
Tater Hole will never know.
No.
I like that limit worm. We got a Lunker Nut limit worm, and I also like the Lunker stick, which is similar to the Cinco. It's a 5-inch soft plastic stick thing.
No, when I say a special color, it is. We actually make them ourselves.
Oh.
We pour some that
Right on.
we started
Are
pouring
you gonna
last
tell us
year.
what color it is after the show's over?
I will.
Good enough.
But if you want me to make it again, you gotta let us get together and kind of hang out a minute, because it's like we play. We'll dip a little color,
you
put a little more color.
Yeah, it's
don't
got to
look
be
right
different
right.
every time.
Yeah. Party at Mike's house.
Keep
one
'em
night, we're
guessing.
gonna make new baits. Nico rig. J.R. Mitchell wants to know about the Nico rig. How much of a role does this play for you guys, and why isn't more anglers using it, or are they? Laugh out loud. I think J.R. hit the nail on the head there. There's a lot more guys using it that are probably saying they're using it. I haven't used it a lot. Brian, have you used it much?
I've used it a little bit, not a lot. I mean, Demiki's got an awesome Nico sinker, and a lot of their worms work very well for the technique. Pretty much the only time I use it, though, is if I'm fishing offshore on a lake or on around something that's not very snaggy, because you've kind of got your hook exposed. I mean, yeah, you can use a weedless, wacky style hook, but you're still going to get hung up a fair amount. So if I'm on a lake fishing a pretty bare bottom or something, I'll throw it a little bit then.
Yeah, I mean, all the Tennessee River lakes when fish get offshore, it's a big
Yeah.
I mean, it's been exposed out there, just
Yeah.
like the drop shot and all that stuff.
Exactly.
But that Nico rig will catch them. And like Brian said, you want to fish it in situations where it's not real hangy. You won't try to pull it through brush piles and things like that. 'cause
Right.
You'll get hung up. But that thing will catch them. Well, you got a bunch of fish sitting up on a drop or something like that, and where it's rock or
Yeah.
something that'd be a good situation to throw it. Let's see. Chris Bishop said, "What length on your favorite shaky head bait?" But you did say 4-inch.
4-inch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4-inch Demiki stinger. It's good.
Let's see. Stephen Johnson Jr. said,
Almost made Jeff spit his drink out.
Not me, Jim Carrey. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good.
Let's see. Stephen Johnson said, "Just got my boat finished. Probably going to head to Moss Lake this weekend. What's good to use this time of year?"
Shaky head.
Yes.
Shaky head. 4-inch
And he's not
Demiki
kidding.
stinger.
Like the last couple of weeks, Brian fished. The last time I fished was about 3 weeks ago, and we did good.
Yeah.
We won a couple tournaments out there at Moss lately.
Shaky
and
head.
A shaky head has accounted for a lot of our fish.
Like
and that's
80% of what we weigh in. Shaky
yeah,
head.
it's a lot. It's a lot. So that shaky, you can't go wrong. Just get you an 1/8 ounce or 3/16 ounce jig head, and keep it simple with the colors: green, pumpkin,
Hey,
and
Bill
white.
Taylor's asked a question. Wait, no, Brian Taylor. I thought it said Bill, but I'm going to answer it anyway. I cited because I thought Bill asked a question. But Brian Taylor asked, do you trim skirts on a football jig or do you leave them alone? A lot of that depends on how big a profile I want. If I'm fishing around spots or smallmouth, I'm going to trim it up and put a smaller trailer on it. Generally, if I'm fishing deep for largemouth, I'm going to want a bigger, bulkier type jig with a bigger trailer, especially in the winter and pre-spawn. When you're talking fishing rocks and stuff like that in the winter and pre-spawn, I want a bigger profile, just a bigger jig because you're going to supposedly and hopefully be catching bigger fish that time of year. So I want the biggest jig I can get. And then when you get into the summer months, I'll kind of trim it up a little bit, use a little smaller trailer, even go down in line size because I'll be fishing that bait a little bit deeper and get that smaller profile, because usually by then the bite's a little more finicky. It's a little bit harder to get bit. That's about it on a football jig.
Yeah, that's a good question. Chris Bishop said thrift, Ned rig versus shaky head. I'll answer that. Shaky head, shaky head, shaky head. He says that every episode. And do you throw the Ned rig any mic up there on Lake Norman?
Very little.
You know, that, I'm sure that thing can probably catch some spots out there.
Oh yeah, it'll catch them.
But give you another option.
Yeah,
But let me tell you what you do on the Ned rig. You take the 4-inch Demiki stinger and you cut about 1 inch off of it, and that's a Ned rig.
Okay, so it's 3 inches.
So it's 3 inches.
3 inches.
That's a little bitty Ned rig.
That is.
All right.
And,
So
well, that's why I haven't been fishing it much. You know, because if I get in that mode where I'm gonna throw a shaky head, you know, the Ned rig being because of that, you know, smaller profile, smaller hook.
Right.
I've stayed away from it.
But you're fishing a lot of brush and stuff too, probably.
A lot of brush,
Yeah, so
you know.
Yeah, and with the Ned rig, you got the hook exposed, which they've got the wire weed guard, and some of them's got, regular weed guards.
yeah, those weed guards though on those type hooks, I mean they're not 100% weedless.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're still going to get hung because you do have light line. You've got to get that weed guard out of the way when you set the hook on a fish. But
Right. And guys, a quick tip on fishing, whether it's a shaky head or Ned rig, if you get down in some brush or feel like you're getting hung, I see a lot of people that fish with me just go out fishing for fun, especially when I used to guide. They get stuck on something and immediately they start pulling real hard.
yeah,
You know, don't do that. You're going to get hung up twice as fast.
Yeah.
Just ease that bait real slow, and if you feel it come up on something, just barely move it.
yeah, or just barely shake it too.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can get it to come over. Sometimes, I mean, it's not 100%, but you'll get more than you would if you just pull on it.
Absolutely. Were you getting ready to say something else about the Nico rig?
No.
Okay. Nico rig.
I cannot say anything that y'all hadn't already said.
Well,
The viewers may want.
Yeah, the people that are watching want to know. All right, so guys, David Prince asked a question. Are y'all catching any southern largemouth on the spy bait?
I have not.
Yeah, Brian is. I've caught a few here and there. It's not
Largemouth or spots?
That's actually a good point. Just some
Yeah.
spots. Yeah, he's got the big southern largemouth. Yeah, I haven't caught.
No, I haven't either. Caught
I
some
don't think I've caught
spots.
a single largemouth. On
I have not. I have not.
Spots and smallmouth seem to be where that thing really shines.
Yeah, like I threw it on a place that had lots of largemouth. It never got a bite on the spy bait. Picked up other stuff and caught a lot of bass and a lot of casts very quickly, and never got bit on the spy bait. And they were all largemouth.
I wonder why that is.
I don't know.
But you know, there's a lot of things that we catch.
Largemouth are not stupid.
that is a southern largemouth is the smartest fish in the country, and I'll argue that to the day I die with anybody. I mean, smartest freshwater bass species in the country. Let me rephrase that. It's like them largemouth in Lake Norman. I mean, how hard is it to catch a 4-pound largemouth in Lake Norman?
Exactly.
I mean, those suckers are smart.
That's what I was
Spots
gonna say.
and
You look at
smallmouth are stupid. Largemouth are
you
not.
look at how many spots is in Norman. You know there's a ton of largemouth too.
Yeah.
But you catch
And you see it
10
in the
to 1.
wintertime. In the wintertime, when the bait's up and the fish are really actively feeding in bait, that's when you see the largemouth at Norman. The rest of the year, no largemouth.
unicorns.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. All right, we'll take a couple more questions, guys. If you got some questions, throw them at us. We've got some time to take them. Joshua, said, Brian, how do you like the P-Line Tactical compared to other fluoros, and what's your favorite size? I love the Tactical.
Yeah, I love
all the sizes. But
I do too. I love the Tactical because it's such a smooth fluorocarbon. A lot of fluorocarbons are really stiff and hard to cast. The P-Line's very castable, and I really like it in the 8 to 12 pound lines. Like I love it cranking, throwing a jerk bait. I love it using it for a leader on my spinning rods. I mean, the 8 and 10 pound Tactical is awesome, and even for flipping. I mean, the 20 is awesome for flipping also. But it's definitely been my favorite line since they came out with it 2 years ago, and I've had a lot of success with it and drug a lot of fish through some very thick stuff.
yeah, it's super strong. It's just as strong as the blue box stuff.
Yeah,
that we used before.
exactly.
The P-Line 100% fluorocarbon
Yeah,
that we used before.
it's actually stronger, and it's got I know in the smaller pound tests, like your 8 and 10 pound, it's got a little bit higher knot strength too. The Tactical does.
So a weight test, it's got a little higher knot strength.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, before I think the P-Line and the blue box was in the weight test with some of the strongest on the market already.
Yes, exactly.
So they've taken that strength,
They've taken a great fluorocarbon and
made it
added a greater fluorocarbon.
unmatched.
Better.
Because the castability is a big thing with
Right.
memory and things like that. Have you used the tactical?
I have. I've just got on it last year late, and I've been a big fan of it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The memory of it is what I notice more than anything.
Yeah, the memory, and that
That's
comes
right.
with the line being a little bit limper, not being quite as stiff. You don't have that memory like you do with a lot of other fluorocarbon.
Yeah, and for somebody that doesn't fish for a living, fluorocarbon's an expensive line.
Yeah, that's
but,
a huge key.
But the life of that tactical is a lot better than the old school fluorocarbons
Right.
that had a lot of memory and they'd keep up real bad.
Yep.
You'd have to change it more often. It'd create weak places in the line.
Yeah.
But the tactical will definitely last you a lot longer.
And one tip on fluorocarbon too: if you do get a fluorocarbon and you've got it a lot of memory in it on a bait caster, just take and tie your line to something, pull off about 50 yards of it, and just click the reel back in gear and like tighten that line up, stretch it out, pull it a little bit, and you can actually get a lot of that memory out by doing that. So that can definitely prolong the life of your fluorocarbon.
All right.
I got to take a break.
Brian, take a break.
Take a break.
All right.
Too much sun drop.
Luke, he said too much sun drop. Brian just jetted out of the room.
I'm about to unlock the door so you can get back in.
Oh, the door's locked. Brian can't get back in. All right, we're getting ready to wrap it up. We'll wait till Brian gets back. But in the meantime, let's see. Luke Horn wants to know when connecting braids and mono or fluoro. What knot do you prefer? I have switched to the Alberto knot. Luke, I'm actually not familiar with the Alberto knot. I'm gonna have to Google it because you got my curiosity up. What knot do you use?
I do the double uni.
The double uni.
Yeah.
I think what I do, I skip a step because I think I use the uni, but I make I don't know the name of it. Excuse me, but I make a loop in the fluoro, and then I put the braid through it, wrap it around both lines, take it back. Is that the uni? That's the uni.
That's the Spillman knot.
Is it the Spellman?
Well,
I don't know the name of the knot that I use.
that's who showed me that one, and I use
yeah,
that.
showed you
I use that one in
one.
Florida,
Okay.
and I use that in Florida, and I use it on when I run metal leader for Spanish mackerel, all that stuff. I use that knot with that, but here I use the double uni, and you go around, back through, overhead, back through, and pull it.
So the double uni for Mike, and that's been your best.
That knot is faster.
The one I'm talking about?
Yeah, but when I get in a hurry, I miss a step, and it's not as strong.
So the one I tie, if y'all are confused on that, I take my fluorocarbon and I make a loop in the fluorocarbon. I hold the line together. I take my tag and my braid. I go through the loop around both pieces of fluorocarbon and then back through. And then when I cinch it down, you make sure when you cinch those knots down with that braid and fluoro, you go slow and you've got it good and moist, because if not, and you burn that fluorocarbon, you're going to break that knot every time. There are knots that you can tie that, and this knot, sometimes it breaks at the lure as opposed to the knot. Sometimes, it depends on how big of a hurry I get in. Sometimes if I burn that fluoro a little bit, it'll break. When I get hung up, when I'm busting it off, but not break on the hook set. But it's super fast, like Mike said, and that's why I use it, because, time is money for us, and I don't want to take a bunch of time to tie up leaders and things like that.
Yeah.
So, Brian, you want to talk about the knot you use real quick, and we're going to wrap it up here?
Yeah. For what?
That's pretty funny. Braid to fluorocarbon.
Braid to fluorocarbon,
Yeah.
I do not know the name of it.
That's what I said.
I do not know the name. The way I tie
It's
it
a
is,
loop, swoop, and pull.
you loop the fluorocarbon, wrap the braid down it 6 times.
After you go through the hole.
Yeah, go through the hole.
So that's the same one.
Yeah.
That's the same one.
Yeah, that's the one I tie.
Because it's fast.
It's fast and it's strong.
Yeah.
Like, especially like with that tactical P line, I don't think I've ever had my joining knot break. I've never had where the braid's attached to the fluorocarbon. I've never had that knot break.
Yeah. Chris Bishop wants to know the best boat on the market right now, hands down, Ranger.
I love mine. I mean, they're not the fastest boats out there, but I guarantee you it's the best fishing boat out there. Like, whenever you get where you're going and you actually start physically fishing, it's the best, most
From a
comfortable
comfort-
fishing boat out there.
Comfort standpoint, storage standpoint, layout standpoint, resale standpoint, they dominate. Mike, you run a Ranger.
I run a Ranger, love it. Probably will never own anything else.
There you go. All right. Got that answered. Guys, thanks for joining us tonight. We're going to wrap it up. When we can't fish, we're going to talk fish. Mike, thanks so much for being on the show, man. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for watching, guys.
Had a great time. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And
It
good
is
luck at
awesome.
the race this weekend. Guys, see you next week.